Hello, Dragonfire here, and we're doing a video this time on the National Lampoon Vacation series. Um, so for this video, we're going to be talking about seven movies, or seven films at least. One of the seven is a short film, but I decided to go ahead and include it in my review. So to give an overview, Uh, the original National Lampoon's Vacation came out in 1983. Uh, then you had National Lampoon's European Vacation came out in '86, followed by National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in '89. So that was the original trilogy, all coming out in the '80s trilogy of movies. Um, in '97, they did follow it up with Vegas Vacation. They dropped the National Lampoon brand name for that entry into the franchise, and it was just Vegas Vacation. And um, in 2003, there was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Uncle Eddie's Island Adventure. And in 2010, there was Hotel Hell Vacation. Notice for the 2003 entry, they brought back the National Lampoon name brand and made a sequel to the Christmas Vacation. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then in 2010, like I said, Hotel Hell Vacation. That one again does not carry the National Lampoon name, and neither did the one that came out in 2015, um, which was Vacation, just called Vacation. Uh, these are all movies considered to be in the same uh, film series, and the main thing here is you have Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase, Ellen uh, Ellen Griswold, whose original last name, her maiden name was Smith, played by Beverly D'Angelo. You have their son Rusty and their daughter Audrey. And Rusty and Audrey are played by a ton of different actors and actresses that have changed from movie to movie. It's been very inconsistent franchise in that regard. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but you also have some main side characters um, of Cousin Eddie, as they like to call him. Actually, it is explained in one of the movies that it is Ellen and Kathleen, who are cousins, and Eddie is Kathleen's husband, so he's a cousin-in-law to the Griswolds. But Kathleen, well, is cousins with Ellen, so they're cousins. Maybe Smith was also Kathleen's maiden name before she married Johnson. Not sure. Not necessarily because they are cousins and not sisters, so they didn't necessarily have the same last name, but they could have. Um, so those are the main uh, things of the franchise. I would say the main characters. The Johnsons, Eddie and Kathleen, um, have children. If we've watched the movies, it's never quite clear how many children they have, or um, or what their ages are, or how many of them are boys, how many of them are girls. Anything like that seems to be wildly inconsistent from movie to movie. Um, just like the ages of Russ and Audrey are inconsistent from movie to movie. I wanted to talk about this. Yeah, in Christmas Vacation, for sure, Audrey is obviously older than Russ, and because they cast like a girl in her probably late teens to play Audrey in that movie. I'm guessing she's 13 minimum, but probably older than that, maybe like 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever. Um, uh, let's see. In Christmas Vacation, she's played by, let's see here, Christmas Vacation. She's played by Juliette Lewis, who you probably recognize from other films, and it looks like she was born in 73. So, however, that would make her in 89 when Christmas Vacation was came out. Um, so yeah, she was quite a bit older than Jonathan Kalaki, who, of course, people would know him from TV series like Roseanne and The Big Bang Theory. In Big Bang Theory, he played Dr. Leonard Hofstadter. In Roseanne, uh, uh, he played David, Darlene's boyfriend, in Roseanne, and he was born in 75. Wait, 75? Hold up. I'm looking these things up as I go. Oh, so she's actually only 2 years older than Galacki, but yeah, since she was born in 73. That's kind of surprising to me since she just she just looks so much taller than him. And again, I'm not doing the math here to figure out exactly how old they were, but she is almost comically taller than him, which is a total flip reverse of the movie before it, because in European Vacation, Russ is like way taller than Audrey. And I do think that there's a lot of uh, overlap between them, uh, between the movies. Um, and in case you're wondering, like if you heard Juliette Lewis before, she was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Natural Born Killers, Strange Days, From Dusk Till Dawn. Uh, so yeah, she's been in Cape Fear. So yeah, she was in a few that movies you might recognize. Um, anyway, she's a lot taller than Jonathan Galacki. Um, and I mean, if you watch Big Bang Theory, you know that they make fun of how short Leonard is in Big Bang Theory. Um, but yeah, he was a young kid, very young kid at this role. I think it was before. I think this movie was filmed before he ever made his first appearance on Roseanne. So, um, uh, and who knows? The movie came out in '89, but most of the filming might happen in '88. It's not unusual for movies to take like a year after principal filming to actually be ready to be released in theaters. So, um, but anyway, there's a couple of big names there. But like I said, they're played by different actors and actresses in every movie, and it seems like sometimes Russ is older, sometimes it seems like Audrey is older. They're not supposed to be the same age. They're not supposed to be twins. It does say in Vegas Vacation they do talk about how they have different birthdays. They mention what day each one was born on. They give you the day in Vegas Vacation for both Russ and Audrey, but they don't tell you the month or the year for either one of them. But you do get to find out what day their birthday is on. I just don't know the month or the year they were born. Uh, so um, so they're not twins, but it's really extremely unclear from movie to movie who's supposed to be older. In a number of the movies, it really seems like Russ is older, but in Christmas Vacation, it's obvious that Audrey is older. So whatever. Um, uh, so yeah, the you have the kids, and again, they're played by different actors and actresses in each movie, and that is something that kind of, if you're trying to figure out continuity wise of these movies, it kind of almost, you have to throw continuity out the window because these movies are about comedy and they're about, you know, telling a comedic story, um, not about continuity or keeping up with things. But you always have Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold, Sparky as Sparky as Ellen likes to call him, um, and you have Ellen played by Beverly D'Angelo, his wife. Um, so these movies are basically comedies at heart. I mean, that is the genre that the series falls into, is the comedy genre. They were very successful in the 80s, and I think ever since then they have been trying to recapture that 80s magic that these films have. So I'm going to get now into my ranking. So first off, I'm going to start off with number 7 on my ranking is going to be Christmas Vacation 2, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Uncle Eddie's Island Adventure. Now, with this one, or Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, I guess, yeah, it's the subtitle of the movie. Um, so this one I think was trying to popularize on the most popular entry in the franchise because I do think Christmas Vacation was the most successful. It's just become a big holiday classic. You see it on TV every year around Christmas time. It's become that holiday classic. And my understanding is that this was a made for TV movie. And people, and rightfully so, consider this movie a spin-off of the original series. Yeah, and I agree with that assessment. It is not following the main characters of Clark and Ellen and their children. Well, Audrey does appear in this movie, but it doesn't have Clark or Ellen. It's actually the only film in the franchise not to feature Clark, Ellen, and Rusty Griswold. Those three characters. This is the only one in the franchise that doesn't feature those three characters. Now you see, I did get this on a double disc set here. Also came with Jack Frost, another holiday movie, Christmas movie. So I got this one more for this movie, but I've actually never seen this one before, so I'll have to check it out. I do like Michael Keaton. I liked him as Batman, so I'll check out this Jack Frost movie. Um, Randy Quaid, um, I feel like he's best as a side character or a supporting character, and in this movie, he has to kind of step up and be the lead of the film, and I think that hurts him. But yeah, I mean, he's been in other stuff before, and the stuff I most know him from is the other vacation movies. He makes appearance in the original Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation. He makes an appearance in Christmas Vacation and European Vacation, but he's part of an ensemble, and he's not, I wouldn't call him a lead character, but more of a side character. But he does deliver in what the film asks him to do. Just like, if I had to pick a movie outside of the Vacation franchise that I know Randy Quaid for, it would be the original Independence Day. And I think he's good in that. but he's part of an ensemble. It doesn't stick on him. It moves from character to character to character in that movie. There's plenty of other things going on. There's Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith and his name escapes me now, but whoever that guy is who plays the president of the United States in that movie. So it's kind of switching between characters in that movie, so you don't spend too much time with Randy Quaid. Um, and I don't know that Randy Quaid should ever be the lead in a film. Yes, this is an ensemble cast, and so Randy Quaid is not the only character focused on throughout the movie. But I would argue that he's probably the main character and that he can't hold up the film by himself. And even his ensemble castmates can't really support the movie enough on their own. It doesn't help that it was a made for TV movie that was probably aired as a holiday special. Oh, look, Christmas Vacation too. You loved the original Christmas Vacation, so this is, a sequel to that, and we'll follow up. Um, Uh, yeah, I think this was probably a rush production. I think that they didn't have the money to spend on special effects, which they do try to accomplish some in this movie. Um, but all that kind of stuff, yeah. Um, uh, yeah, I just have a hard time with this one. This one actually would have been my number six, the original time I went through a few years back. I went through, of course, I had seen the first four many times, but a few years back I went through and rewatched um, the old ones, or rewatched all the films. And there was one that I really didn't like, but then going back this time, I was like, you know what, that wasn't so bad. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time I saw it. But anyway, this one drops from my number six to my number seven now because it is. Yeah, like I said, you can't really. I just don't see that this one carrying its weight, and the jokes don't land for me. I don't think it's all that humorous, and it just fails on a lot of levels for me of delivering the comedy, and the story's not all that interesting. It's kind of just out there. They have like a lot of over the top gags that I feel just really don't work. Um, they have this one faucet gag thing where the water sprays out of the faucet and this, and I feel like if they had done something similar to that in one of the previous movies, they would have set it up somehow, but they don't in this movie. They don't set it up at all. It's just boom, it happens, um, and you're just supposed to accept that it's happening. And it's so over the top that it gets to like cartoonish levels of things going on. It's just it's just too much. It's too over the top. It swings for the fences, but man, does it miss. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, we are introduced to some new family members, and I did briefly mention before that Audrey from the main family, the Griswold family, is in this movie. She comes to visit um, her mom's cousin, you know, and her family, because that's how she's related to them. She's related through her mom, Ellen, and um, yeah, for Kathleen is her mom's cousin, so that's for all practical purposes, Eddie and Kathleen are like an aunt and an uncle to Audrey. Now, one thing that is neat about this is the only time in the series that an actress returns to play Audrey for a second time. Um, and it is, let me find my chart here. I believe it is the Audrey from the original, from the very first movie from National Lampoon's Vacation. Yes, that's correct. Yes, it's the it's the Audrey from the original National Lampoon Vacation. So, she's the only person to ever played Audrey twice, and that is Dana Baron. Let's see here. Well, let's see. And this is the main thing that she's known for. Dana Baron is mainly known for playing Audrey in the National Lampoon Vacation series, playing Audrey twice. So, um, so that's the main credit of her acting career, but not bad because these are beloved films that everybody knows. Um, but anyway, yeah. So that is my number seven. Now my number six is going to be the short film Hotel Hell Vacation. This film was originally created for the short film to air during the Super Bowl halftime show, and it was meant to be an advertisement for a website where you book hotel rooms. It basically saying, go for our website so that you don't end up accidentally booking the hotel from hell, basically. But it is shot as a pretty decent little film uh, that um, uh, the first time I saw it, I didn't think it was funny at all, but for whatever reason, when I rewatched it, it actually hit a little better. Um, I don't have a physical copy of it, but it is free to watch online. It's like somewhere between like 15 to 20 minutes long, if I remember correctly. Maybe even less than 15 minutes long. I don't remember, but it's fine for what it is. It does have uh, um, Clark uh, and sorry, um, Clark and Ellen return, played by Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. And they're going on a vacation. They're leaving to go visit Russ. And Russ isn't staying at his normal home. I think he's staying at a vacation home. And in this adaptation here, Russ is older by now. I mean, this one did come out in 2010, um, and so he's old and has his own family and kids of himself, and he's married, has a wife. They have two children. In this little short film, Russ and his wife have a boy and a girl. Later, that would be kind of reset in the film franchise in the full length movie that would come out 5 years later in 2015, where Russ and his wife would have two boys instead of a boy and a girl. Um, and pretty much the boy only appears like briefly in a blink and you'll miss it type shot. Uh, is the younger of the two, and then the older one is the girl. I think. I think so. Um, but um, yeah, um, in that version, it's only a short film, and for whatever reason, the first time I watched it, it didn't land for me. But when I watched it again, and that was years ago that I watched it, and this is the only second time I've ever seen it, I watched it again, and it was actually pretty funny. I liked it for whatever reason. This time the jokes worked. And the Hotel Hell Vacation is the only one that doesn't feature Audrey. I guess we got one that with in Christmas Vacation 2 that didn't feature Russ, so we get one in Hotel Hell Vacation that doesn't feature Audrey. So, but Russ still has never been played by the same actor twice. I think they were actually at one point in talks of a TV series with Jonathan Glacke would come back and play Russ again in the TV series, but that ended up not happening. So, um, yeah, this one's fine little short film for what it is. Like I said, maybe with comedies, it's what kind of mood you're in, but the jokes didn't land for me the first time they did. The second time I saw it years later, so who knows what will happen with that. Um, and then, so my number five is going to be the other movie that I would also consider a spinoff, just like I consider Christmas Vacation 2 a spinoff because I always considered like Clark and Helen the main characters. So a movie that doesn't have them, like Christmas Vacation 2, um, to me feels like a spinoff, like you're taking side characters and making a movie out of that. And I will say that's also true for Vacation, the one that came out in 2015. I do have this five film box set. Unfortunately, the artwork is not all that great, and don't know if that's coming through very clear there, but hold on a second. Okay, I switched the lighting there. Hopefully, maybe that comes through a little. I know these DVD covers are kind of glossy, but um, Vacation in this comes as a standalone DVD, um, and this one has Ed Helms playing the character of Rusty Griswold. And again, I consider the parents the main characters. So once you get to the kids, it's kind of like making a spinoff. Um, Clark and Ellen do make an appearance in the movie, uh, but they but they are not the main characters for sure. It focuses on Rusty, who once again is played by a different actor who's never played that character before, in Ed Helms. And I have to say that once again, just like when I watched this series a few years ago, this movie also landed better for me this time than the last time I watched it. Um, and it is again only the second time I've ever seen the movie. That's the second time I've ever seen Christmas Vacation 2, second time I've ever seen Hotel Hell, and second time I've ever seen just Vacation. The Vacation made in 2015 with no National Lampoon name attached to it. So, um, but you know what? I had fun with this movie again. This time, Rusty and his wife um, have two boys, and they go on a family vacation road trip. So it's kind of, I feel like trying to recreate the vibe of the original Vacation, because that one was all about a road trip to Wally World. This one also has a road trip to Wally World that he wants to do that so that we can bond, we can get closer as a family if we take this road trip to Wally World. Um, I think they do good with the material that they're given. It's always nice to see Christina Applegate, who plays Rusty's wife in this one. Different actress than who played her in the short film Vacation Hell, um, I think a step up of improvement there. Um, so yeah, I thought I thought Ed Helms and Christina Applegate were good choices to helm this film. Um, and the kid actors they've hired to play the two sons do a great job in this movie as well. Uh, yeah, um, it's fun. You gotta be in the mood to laugh. Um, but that just brings us down to the original films. And this might be a controversial choice, but for my number four, I am going with European Vacation. This might be controversial because and that one came in double this set with Vegas Vacation. But I say it might be controversial because people might be expecting me to pick the original 80s trilogy as my top three, but this one, European Vacation, for me, kind of just lands right outside the top three. It's an all time classic, no doubt about it. Um, but I just feel that it's the weakest of the original four. Um, and probably, when they come back after the 80s are over for like 97 and they do Vegas Vacation, was probably the last time that I feel like Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo would really embody those characters. Not that, again, I kind of do like the short film Hotel Hell Vacation, but at their age, at how old they were getting by that point, that I think it became tougher to play those characters, and maybe that's why it was so short. Um, but um, uh, this European Vacation is good. I just find that it's a little weaker than some of the others in the franchise, but it's fun. They get to go to Europe. They get to go to uh, uh, France and see the Eiffel Tower. They get to go to Germany and participate in like an Oktoberfest in Germany, uh, you know, stuff like that. So, um, they get to travel around Europe. They won free tickets to Europe and they go take a vacation. Um, it's fine for what it is, but I just think that there's less comedy involved there. Um, so, but but still, European Vacation still kicks off my Mount Rushmore. I do think that the original four films are kind of all-time comedy classics. It is also the only one that does not feature, um, well, except for Hotel Hell. It's the only other one that, well, no, okay, Vacation from 2015 also doesn't. But it's the only one of the original four, I'll put it that way, the only one of the original four that doesn't feature an appearance by Cousin Eddie, um, of, uh, you know, where he doesn't come visit them or crash their vacation in some way. Um, yeah, because they're in Europe, so it wouldn't really make sense for them to run into Cousin Eddie in Europe, I think. Um, so for my bronze medal, um, this is this is a tough choice. I got three really good movies here. I might end up going with the original Vacation for my bronze medal. The original National Lampoon's Vacation, the film that started the franchise, in my bronze medal, third place. And these are classic comedy movies, so this isn't an insult me giving it third place, even though it's the original. But uh, I enjoy this movie, The Trip to Wally World, the drive across the cross country drive. I think they start in Chicago. Wally World is like in California, maybe near the Los Angeles area, or either San Diego or Los Angeles, wherever it is, somewhere there in Southern California area, somewhat. So, um, it's a pretty big drive to have, four people in a car and stuff like that. Um, and it's just it's a classic '80s comedy film, and really good. It's I really feel like those three that were made in the '80s were Chevy Chase at his peak. Um, the only reason that I have Vegas Vacation higher on my list than two of the ones that came in the '80s is because I feel like it's a very strong story that helps support it. So even if Chevy Chase is a little past his prime, you got a strong supporting story or a strong script and everything. Um, but yeah, Beverly D'Angelo is always very consistent in her role as Ellen. But let's move on to my silver medal. Um, I'm gonna have to give my silver medal to Christmas Vacation. I know this is gonna be a controversial choice here. Christmas Vacation is, um, there's the original Vacation and Christmas Vacation on a DVD set there. But Christmas Vacation is a great movie. No complaints. It's great. But for whatever reason, the other one, the one above it, for me, has always stood in my mind more. It's just become ingrained in my brain for some reason more than Christmas Vacation. And there's just memorable things in that movie for whatever reason that just stand out to me. And it's the one that first pops into my mind when I think of the vacation franchises is Vegas Vacation, my number one. But my number two, Christmas Vacation, is still a really awesome movie. It's probably the second one that comes into my mind whenever I think of the franchise. So yeah, Christmas Vacation is it's an all-time classic. There's reason it's not just because it's a Christmas themed movie that you see it on TV every year around Christmas time. There is a reason because the movie is truly funny and for the most part family friendly, especially if it's been edited to play on network TV or whatever. It's going to be a family friendly version and stuff. With maybe a scene or a little thing here or there cut out. Uh, yeah. It is an all-time classic, Christmas Vacation, no doubt about it. I think it's my silver medal, my second favorite film in the franchise, the original National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, not its awful sequel, Christmas Vacation 2. But my number one is technically the next sequel to Christmas Vacation, even though it's not called Christmas Vacation 2. It is the next movie to come out in the franchise, and that is Vegas Vacation. This one dropped the National Lampoon name, one of three films, I guess, in the franchise out of the seven I've ranked that didn't have the National Lampoon name, with Hotel Hell Vacation, and then the 2015 Vacation, and this one, Vegas Vacation. Um, it's the only film in the franchise to come out during the 90s, and yeah, I just gotta be honest about how I feel. Vegas Vacation just sticks out in my mind. I do love it. Here's the dual set with Vegas, the dual DVD with Vegas Vacation, European Vacation, and one disc. Um, it is one that really, it just stands out in my mind, and I love the stuff, and I love the family dynamic of how Clark loses the money, but then he goes a desperate attempt to win it all back and all that kind of stuff. And the happy ending that the family gets at the end of the movie. All of the first, well, I think the entire franchise, is with the possible exception of the short film Hotel Hell Vacation, gets more or less a happy ending. Um, they have to go for a lot of stuff to get there, but out of all the happy endings in the franchise, Vegas Vacation, you could argue, is the biggest happy ending for those characters. So, um, yeah, it's the one that I kind of remember the most, and that I really enjoy. But it's an epic franchise, and it's all about spending that time with family and family vacation. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this franchise, and if you want, uh, like I said, I recommend these first four movies especially. And yes, I'm including the one that came out in '97. I'm including the one from the '90s. But the first four movies are just classic comedies. So if there's any of them in the franchise you haven't seen, uh, particularly for the first four, that is the Mount Rushmore of this franchise. So I think most people would. who's seen every film in the franchise would agree that the first four are the Mount Rushmore of the franchise, the best of the franchise. They may not rank them in those four in the same exact order that I ranked them in, but they would rank those four at the top. Like I said, Christmas Vacation is a lot of people's favorite. I can't argue with that. It's a great movie. But if you only know Christmas Vacation, give the original National Lampoon Vacation a try out. Give National Lampoon European Vacation and Vegas Vacation. Try those movies because they are worth the watch, and they will and they're good and they're good company. Okay, that's my ranking for the Vacation franchise. God bless you, everybody. Dragonfire out.